Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to cover an emergency vet bill. So let me just put it like this: even if you don't have pets, you have to um, prepare for an emergency. And the question is not if, it is when. I'm going to give you what happened with me the Friday after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, in the evening, laying on my bed. Noticed my dog seizing, so he had a seizure, and um, it was an emergency, right? First thing we did was try to make sure he was okay. He survived, thank God, through prayer, because that's all I was doing was praying while he was seizing. My wife was taking care of him. But the next thing was to find an emergency vet, right? You're talking about 8, 9 o'clock on a Black Friday. Folks are shopping, right? Long story short, we found an emergency care place. The first thing that she said was, it's going to be $175 just to take a look at him, right? And that particular time, I was irritated because it's like, I'm not concerned about money right now. I'm concerned about my dog, who has taken care of us all these years, and we have to take care of him now. So whatever care we need to do it now and fast. Fast forward, he gets the care that he needs when we went to the emergency vet. They took great care of him. Um, they gave him medication for his seizure, and they checked his blood and urine. I think the total for that was about $700 to $800. Then the next day we went to go see his normal doctor, his normal vet doctor. That was about $100. They just looked over him and gave us some medication for him, just in case he has another seizure. It goes so like an inhaler that goes up his nose, and that's supposed to stop him from having a seizure within a minute or less. But that was $100. And then they wanted to run more tests to see, if he had issues, Cushing's disease. And that was an all-day test from his primary doctor, and that was about a $300-400. So you're talking about close to $1,200 to $1,300 came out of my pocket. So I know the other question you're gonna ask is, did I have insurance? Insurance was canceled. They tried to up the insurance because he's an older dog. He's 13. And I decided not to pay that. So this is all out of pocket. So lesson learned number one, if you can, try to get pet insurance. Number two, even if you do get pet insurance, because we had pet insurance for a number of years now, you still have to pay out of pocket. And you send them the receipt, and they reimburse you based on your coverage. So you have to pay your deductible, out of pocket, cap, whatever the case may be. And they'll send you the remainder of that money. So long story short, it has to come out of pocket. So thank God that I did have the money. Thank God that I was saving. And I would say the first thing you should do is set a target amount, right? You want to save for emergencies. Put it in a savings account that can grow. Look up high yield savings accounts. They're not brick and mortar banks. These are banks online typically. Discover, Capital One, Alliant. There are a lot of different banks that you can bank with online that give you a high yield um, dividend, right? So have a open up a high yield savings account. Have a set target amount. I would say try to start off with $1,000 to $2,000. I just gave you my example that was close to 13. So having that amount and maybe automating that deduction or that payment to your high yield savings account, $50, $100 every time you get paid. The next thing you know, you have that account built up. So if an emergency happens, when an emergency happens, you'll have that money. And if you're struggling to find out how you're going to put money in that account, the first thing you need to do is reduce non-essential spending. What I mean by that, going out to the movies, going out to eat, having fun. Maybe those things need to be cut back so you can take care of your future emergencies. Or use any windfalls. There are situations, if you get paid every 2 weeks like I do, there are 2 months out of the year. If you plan out your paycheck every 2 weeks, there's 2 months out of the year where you get an extra paycheck. Save that. If you can't save with your regular money that's coming in every 2 weeks or whenever you get paid. And like I said, keep the money accessible, right? So I said a high yield savings account, you could transfer that money to your brick and mortar account if you need to, like I do. I have a high yield savings account that's online, and then I transfer that money if I need it to my brick and mortar checking account. All right. That is my story. That is my spill. And we're going to talk about planning and stewardship and my Bible verse, because you know I got to hit you with it. So Proverbs 21:20, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulps theirs down. All right. Thank you. Have a good one.